Hey everybody. Uh, I was a last minute substitute today. And last of the day I heard it soon, so I did not prepare a presentation because I just sort of assumed that nobody would be here. You guys actually showed up, so give yourself a round of applause for staying around. Look, I'm just gonna make a real informal open Q&A. There's no questions, we didn't kill it. But happy to talk about Archway, happy to share spicy takes, so it's recorded and publicly out there. We just have talk about whatever. Just really have 80 spicy questions that I want to ask.
Hustle about Archway first.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Archway is a blockchain and enhanced ecosystem. General purpose, we've implemented closet WASM. The main thing that differentiates Archway from almost every other L1 out there is we've redesigned the protocol completely from scratch to incentivize the developers and the builders building out the same way that a validator or a miner might be incentivized for running the network. You do the same thing, but at the application layer at the top. So when developers deploy a smart contract on Archway, they earn a little bit of gas fees, they earn inflation, they can charge what they want for their smart contracts. And that all creates recurring revenue for the developer, the data builder at the end of the day. So it lends itself particularly towards apps and use cases that are a little harder to monetize without like a governance structure or something like that. So think like multi-sigs, where it doesn't really make sense to launch it every structure on multi-sig, or on Archway, and they can incentivize by just usage of their contracts, they'll earn a lot of revenue. Other things is like infrastructure plays, Oracle, so you name it, even treasury management. We'll see lots of aggregators like that on top of Archway where it makes a lot of sense. And so those kinds of use cases where it doesn't make sense to just launch a governance token or a meme token around your network, you actually want to build something very financially sustainable. Archway makes to be the best place and best way to do so. Cool.
How did you get into it?
Question. So I have kind of a fintech background, computer science, finance background, got into fintech, and then I was so fortunate enough to meet the early team at Consensus back in 2015. So I met Joseph Lubin and Vitalik at the time, all that stuff, being one of the very, very first hires over at Consensus, and ended up writing that tree for 4 or 5 years over on that side, and then got pulled over into the Cosmos space. So my first entry into crypto in general was one of the very first early exciting factors over at Consensus. Fun takes over there, just history, a lot of crazy stuff.
You know, looks it's all you got. I was going to say, what sorts of games are voice building?
Yeah, so the team is pretty focused on building internal dApps. We support a lot of third-party dApps as well. And spent a lot of time doing that since we're general purpose. But since the Cosmos space is lacking a lot of application for dApp devs, we've kind of been building open resources to incubate and build dApps in-house, DeFi projects in-house. So a lot of our focus right now is those DeFi, those NFT primitives, things like that you see on all these other L1s, especially in the Ethereum space, and trying to bring that to Cosmos and offer a unique offering within the Cosmos ecosystem at the application layer. So all of our energy and time is going into building dApps right now. Most of it. Yeah.
What are some good examples of apps that you're building or that you've successfully launched?
Yeah. So one is Amber. It's an NFT marketplace on top of the Archway ecosystem. The very first version was pretty all things considered, but we launched it with one NFT collection called Archies, and Archies now is probably the top 4 NFT collection of Cosmos. So our very first NFT collection on a brand new NFT platform, we were very, very excited. I think the floor is like, yeah, it's also the first time we ever did NFT reveal, which I don't think has been done anywhere in crypto. So what you can do is you buy the NFT and then you can go in and reveal the NFT. So it has two different states, the NFT, which is pretty cool. And that enables you to buy what we call like a little egg and then reveal it, a little Archie. Purchase the eggs or you trade eggs, there's no way to figure out exactly what's going to be revealed. It's completely random in the day. So what's so cool is in there's like collectible ones, there's more common ones, obviously. But those are kind of trading on the same bear marketplace. We're excited about it. We're going to be taking a little different approach than some of the Stargates or the other NFT there. This one can be very much permissioned, catered towards pro trading. And we have a bunch of really awesome NFT collections lined up. But I believe like everybody purchased at the mint ended up like, doing really, really well before we through the roof. So we're super excited about all these future collections that we're about to launch on. Great question. So yes, that's one app I'm super excited about. Nothing. Only 2 minutes race. Yeah.
What's the long-term vision for Richmond?
Yeah. I think like at the end of the day, what we're trying to basically do is build products and dApps that are like financially viable and stable at the end of the day. And so, there's like this big red of like how can you monetize open source software? How do you monetize public goods infrastructure? And Archway at the end of the day is like really on the cutting edge of this. How do we give developers or builders and creators in general the tools to basically monetize their creations and generate money? My feeling of where it kind of came from is back in my time on the Ethereum side, I had a decision to make, like where am I going to build next? And building an application and dApp on top of Ethereum. Like, you invest all your energy and time into building these products, and you're going to be driving users, capital, your own sweat and tears to the end product. And at the time, it didn't feel right to me. If you know what the Fab protocol thesis is, you're driving all these value to this layer one, but whoever's the largest token holders are the ones who are benefiting from the underlying network for all your hard work and for all your usage. And so what we wanted to try to do is like redesign a protocol that is much more fair to the builders that we're building on top. Redesign it so that they could capture the value, capture the economic upside of their contributions to the underlying network instead of it always going in according to the largest token holders. And so that's why we redesigned Archway so that the dApp developers, if they participate in the network, they're financially incentivized to build a really strong dApp that's long lasting, etc. Obviously, the challenge on the flip side to that is like meme coins on Solana, for instance, which are doing great and everything else. But the challenge with that is, it's quick wins, short-term money, it's in and out, it's all hype. It's not long lasting, it's not built stable. But with Archway and the devs building on top of Archway, they have a little bit of a different mindset. They have a long-term mindset. They're thinking about yield. They're thinking about their revenue. And some of the projects are even giving that yield back to their end users. So there's a couple of projects that are building the DeFi buys. And they're able to offer much higher yields because they just redirect the rewards that they're application level back to their end users. And that's what makes it so cool at the end of the day. Hence why the stream is other questions. We're just doing open Q&A if you're just joining us.
Do you have any AI dApps being built, or are you integrating AI in any way into Archway?
Yeah, we've so right now, like, no, we're not in Interchain, unfortunately. Sorry. But our depth development team right now is experimenting with like Claude and everything else to basically streamline the dApp development process. So right now we've been training the models on our libraries that we've been building out. And our goal is to reduce the friction time it takes to basically spin up and build an app. So you can easily just plug it into, for instance, this case like Claude. Like what you want to build. It should spit out all the Rust code for your contract level right away. And then we're training on the front end libraries around. So we're standardizing the design components across the board, the front end libraries, everything else, and it should spit it out real quickly. We've been playing around with it. We can actually build some really complex apps already using Claude. It still requires that like senior engineer to kind of come in and just like sanity check everything. But in terms of like scaffolding of the app real quickly, it just, I think in the next like 6 months, it's just going to streamline everything very, very quickly. And so right now, today, like it recognizes IBC, it recognizes IBC boards across different chains. It recognizes custom modules that we've been deploying in just the last couple of months. So one is like this like Debian type process, this automation process that we built into the protocol called fallback. So you can now run automated tasks in the future, all designed and built into the chain itself. We were pretty surprised when the AI algorithms basically picked it up and picked it up from our documentation, everything else, and recognizing how to build those contracts. So today, like on the Solidity side, there's a lot more Solidity devs, but like a good Solidity dev, since most of the components are reusable, probably takes like a week and a half. It's a very complex DeFi product, medium long. The actual Solidity code, you gotta go through testing and everything else and audits. The biggest bulk actually is probably the front end development. When building dApps, that tends to take like 70% of the workload is actually building front end components. But right now, like it will scaffold them over a stack. It'll create all those files, those libraries real easily. On the front end side, it can easily scaffold up a React front end app that recognizes the RPC endpoints. So I think what's going to happen here in the next 6 months is just like time to build is going to increase significantly. And we often get this question all the time. It's like, well, are there any cosmic Muslim? They're all Solidity devs. Everybody goes over to Ethereum for one of the main reasons is for access to Solidity engineers. And so they're implementing EDF and the like. The question we have to ask ourselves is, if AI comes in and reduces time, that friction, that knowledge necessary to go build a Wasm dApp, that's going to reduce one of the biggest barriers to entering the Cosmos space and entering the Cosmos Wasm space altogether. So they're just going to be able to spin up a dApp real quickly. So I'm very excited about this. I personally think it's going to be such a big move. Like Blockspace is basically going to get monetized, and then every major chain is going to have probably at least like their winner in every single dApp vertical across the board, because somebody's going to easily be able to spin up a dApp, easily do a ChatGPT prompt or Claude AI or something like that. So I think it's going to streamline the dApp. I don't think liquidity becomes a advantage either, because something like Osmosis, which right now the competitive advantage is liquidity in the Cosmos space. The challenge with IBC, though, is you easily just have the liquidity pools on Ethereum or Solana or anywhere else and just abstract away the user interface. And so now what happens is like you don't get a competitive advantage at the infrastructure layer. You don't get a competitive advantage at the liquidity layer. You're not going to get a competitive advantage maybe necessarily at the application layer. Where does the competitive advantage? Where is it? And in my opinion, I think it's only the end user, probably on the brand side, and reducing your acquisition costs, since it is really, really expensive right now to acquire users in the space. So, sorry, a long-winded answer to your question, but I think AI is just going to strain, at least the way we're approaching it, is just how do you go from idea to product in like a week? You know, I want to be able to go into a university on a weekend, sit down with 30 students that have like a 1 year or 2 years of computer science education under the belt and scaffolds up a dApp. I mean, that's my goal. So streamline, over a course of that hackathon. Be like pretty good, not just MVP, but like production ready, deployable. And since dApps really aren't the most complicated thing to build on the tech side, and most of the code is not open source, I think it is still impossible. Yeah. Other questions? Yeah.
What are the top 5 projects other than Archway that you're most excited about?
Um, well, the one that was getting some hype here at this conference is Story Protocol around the IP. It's also a Cosmos chain, believe it or not. I guess they announced that with an EVM implementation. Um, the question everybody's asking themselves is like, okay, if block space is completely commoditized, how do you find your specialty? It seems like a lot of projects are trying to own a specific vertical. And so the story might be the sort of the canary in the coal mine, sort of highlighting that, they're trying to own the IP vertical. Do I think the IP vertical is going to be successful? No, I do not. I don't think anybody's going to buy that IP or pay for that IP in a material amount. And I think the tokenization of that is going to be extremely complicated. So I wouldn't say like I'm excited about the use case per se, but the messaging elements of it I am. I'm excited about that vertical, network convertible chain. So that's one. Let's see, what are some other ones? Pendle, you gotta be excited about Pendle right now. They just keep executing. There's a lot of projects over the weekend comments that you're talking about just reutilization of yields and a bunch of database products coming downstream. So I'm excited about some of that stuff right now. I don't know if it's the name of a project, but it just seems like just building that fixed yield into is coming, which I'm excited about.
What is fixed yield?
So it's sort of like fixed instruments in the traditional markets where you would buy a bond or a security of some sort. And you would just earn you buy the underlying asset and you're this, certain interest rate in yield from buying that underlying asset. The tokenization of yield is starting to happen across the board. And so some people are calling it stuff like fixed yield instruments. There's a bunch of other terms kind of out there, but it is worth like researching and exploring. It seems to be kind of cutting edge.
Yes. How do these chains or solutions verify, prove that they've purchased the like asset?
So we're talking here in this, I guess what you're referencing is like a real world asset that buys the line. Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, most of them are basically go out and get their party auditors to just like audit and say, we actually own the underlying asset. That's how they're basically all proving it. Technically, there's a bunch of different models there on that side. I think I'm more talking about like using crypto products and turning that into like fixed yield type. That seems to be getting some momentum.
It's easier to verify that.
Yeah, easier to verify because it's all on chain in a way, and you're just behind the game, like different assets. Yeah. Other questions?
What's your goal for startup that's in their secret?
Make sure you raise enough money. It's going to take longer than you think. Yeah, that's probably the best one. I would say the other thing is, unfortunately, in this space, we started tech first. I think if I were to redo it again in this climate, this environment, I would probably start getting marketing and relationship first. Drive the hype, drive the awareness. Even if you don't technically have anything built, it's so counterintuitive, but it's like you could have the best tech out there, but if nobody cares about it, obviously, they won't say that, nobody's going to use it or whatever. So what we're seeing is a lot of protocols just push really hard on the marketing front, Twitter, KOL, get the name out there and drive the hype, and then do another round. And then the next round, actually go out and build something. So like just do white papers, drive the hype, and then do your second round. We were very much tech first, tech driven, all the way. You can see how that decision played out by this sizing screen. But we are long term aligned and we have the capital to last, so we're not too worried. Yeah, but I would drive marketing and sales first. Marketing meeting.
It's so sad.
It's sad. It's pretty sad, but
It's the drugs. Oh,
Yeah, I can like all the info. Other questions?
what's the meaning of life?
42. Go ahead. 5G back. So surgeon. Anything else? What's
How do you motivate yourself working hard?
well? I got a great team, so I honestly don't want to fail the team. So I think like that keeps me motivated. I don't want to fail because they're investor training and those stakeholders in the community. So that motivates me, especially when I'll be on Twitter for something. So that'll keep me motivated. No, look, it really at the end of the day, it's the long term vision, and I've been in crypto now almost a decade, and I've seen every cycle and every trend you can think of. Think about it straight up, come straight down, fly in the dance type products. But it's so funny. Products that kind of made the 2017 to 2020 crunch, they just building for at the end of the day. I literally think the metals just surviving. And if you can just keep surviving, just keep chipping away at it, eventually you're going to build that effects that's going to compound well. I remember like the Gnosis team. Most people know about Gnosis Save or Gnosis Wallet or Gnosis, but they were struggling for many years. They just kept their team small, nimble, and just kept chipping away at things. And then they started to really traction and wins after a few years. I also remember a lot of people building back in the early 2007. It was just like too early to market on a lot of these things. And so a lot of people just gave up and a bunch of new ideas. But I really think like almost like Gendrix and Lowell says is all I'm like 99% of cases founders think they're too late for the party. Most of the time we're too. And so like really like the key here is to just keep fighting through the hard times and like just survive in the next 10 years. And it will eventually in those wins are going to be more so like you know just like give up. So that's I think the key is just perseverance. When we got started, we were competing a lot with the Juno community early on, Cosmos space, and Juno community just was carrying us up left and right. So we just sort of ignored that stuff and just kept building. And now Juno's no longer basically like us or it's like a shell of what it used to be. Now we have other competition in space, but it's like the key is like just keep driving, keep moving, keep iterating, and just staying in the games. Then you'll get your light. Every project I've seen going through Berto, like eventually gets their sun, eventually gets their time in the sun. And so just keep building and eventually the winds will shift and adjust and you'll get your spotlight at that point. And then you build and the spotlight fades away and you gotta build, and then you wait for the spotlight to come again and then get another big boost. So just seeing all the projects over the last decade, that's my vision. Just keep building, keep knocking away at things, and eventually it will collect it will. You'll figure it out as long as you just keep persevering and don't run out of money. I guess. Yeah. Other questions? The last arguments. Yeah.
How do you like to spend your free time?
With my family, and speaking friends and family, we go for family walks, just hang out with other families and things like that. So just like to spend time. Cool. All right. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.